All right, so the time here in SVG, it is now 8:09, and it is time for us to get into the second part of our Activated Mornings program. And with Crystal, Deanna, and myself, we have guess who? Guess who's back?
Doctor.
Back again. You didn't sing the rest, Doc? You know the rest? I don't even know.
He
I just
missed
opened
the
all of
cue.
Nah, if you know, he doesn't know that, probably doesn't know that one.
No,
missed
I
the
know that
cue.
one, but
You know it?
of
What
course,
color are we
but
gonna guess who's back? Back again.
Yes, well, good Monday morning. Thank you very much. Wonderful to be here. Wonderful, the listeners, and so we have some interesting topics this morning. Let's get into it.
All right. So, how was your weekend, though, Doc?
Well, I tell you, usually my weekends, sadly, a couple of funerals,
Oh,
and I gotta say, clearing debris from the mangrove. There's a lot of debris and so around the country that has to be hauled. I imagine what things are like in Union Island and so. But the commissioner of police's mother had passed away some time ago. She had a funeral yesterday, so I was there. I had to really register my presence. A really wonderful, virtuous woman. I had to be there.
This would be Miss Williams, Miss or Mrs. Williams.
Yes,
She-
Aneta
Okay.
Williams. Yeah.
Okay.
condolences to the bereaved.
And she was from North Leeward as well.
She was from Spring Village.
Right. Okay.
Spring Village, yes.
Okay. All right. So condolences, Mr. Enville Williams, Commissioner. I think he's probably still currently designation acting. Commissioner acting. So our condolences extended to you and your family members at this time. All right. So we are going to jump into another story or a story. And as usual, this thing is not open on my phone. Diana, could you assist? Yeah. All right. So last week, Thursday or Friday, we spoke about a convicted child rapist who absconded, who was not present in court for that hearing, for the final hearing, right? And police had issued a wanted notice for him. And yes, everybody was on the alert, and we had a full discussion in relation to that. All right, so we're just going to pull up the story.
You got it?
It's not open, Emma.
Okay, so I got it. So this thing here. IWN has a story with the headline Fugitive Child Rapist Nabbed Trying to Flee to St. Lucia. The picture they have up totally different from what we saw in the police
I find
bulletin.
every time I see a photo of him, it's different. He looks different.
So he's not one of those shapeshifters.
First is the devil make you do it now with shapeshifters. All right,
know,
Crystal,
like
I
he
see you on
has,
a
like,
roll this
mask.
morning. I see you on a roll this morning.
Yeah, man, I'm a bounce, a crystal ball. Hey, anyways, the man for whom the court issued an arrest warrant and the police a warranted bulletin. He's so popular after he was convicted in absentia on Tuesday, if I pronounce that right, of raping a 14-year-old girl in November 2021, was nabbed in Chateaubriand on Thursday trying to take a boat to St. Lucia. Good morning, Chateau.
Big up, big up, big up.
Good morning, Chateau. Well, no, Chateau. No. That's not where you're from. You're from the Leeward side, right, Doc?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You from?
You're from the Leeward side, right?
I am from Chateaubriand. I was born in Chateaubriand.
People
I'm
like
a
Doc.
Chateau man.
Chateau
And
man.
he probably picked the wrong place to try. And
All the right
Indeed,
place.
he did.
I think he
Indeed,
picked the
did.
right place.
Oh, yeah, depends on
Well,
how you
yeah,
look
how you
at
look
it.
at it, yes.
Yeah. Where you going? Where are you going? All right, so let's continue. IW1 was reliably informed that Mr. Samuel, 27, of Green Hill, had chartered a speedboat to take him to the neighboring island. You big boat, eh? But
He chartered.
chartering. Look at
He
you.
chartered a boat.
Like you're going to Big Keys. vacation this is. However, residents of the North Leeward town recognized the wanted man who fled as they moved to apprehend him. Mr. Man ran to the abandoned fisheries complex located close. There was a little bit of waiting, close to the wharf, and threatened to consume what he said was a toxic substance. A workplace source told IWN. However, members of the public were able to wrest the substance from him before he could consume it. We stick a pin there.
Go ahead. Let me.
No, we stick a pin there. We stick in a couple of pins. Good morning to Miss Joseph on the live. By the way, we're live on WEFM 99 SVG on Facebook and YouTube. We stick a pin there because that was a mouthful, right?
It was. It
was a mouthful.
What it does, it reads like a story or like a movie. Everything
continues.
Everything is just picturing. Everything is just unfolding as you read it. It's quite dramatic.
No, I can tell you something. Well, two things I want to say. And this is the second episode and maybe a trend. That bank robbery in South River and the reaction of the public and this reaction in Chateaubriand is probably something as a start of citizen.
But this is the second time as well for Chateau or the North Leeward area. Remember the fugitives from Grenada?
Yes. Well, I was going to say two things. In the past, sometimes when in the days of high-level illegal cannabis production and so, fugitives used to try and flee to the hills. What the guys used to do is say, we're not attracting attention here. We don't know what you did. You may be innocent until proven guilty or whatever the case might be, but we're bringing you down. We're bringing you down. And some individuals sometimes be hog-tied, brought down, and landed on the beach. And somebody tell the police, there's a guy here. He's right here. You don't have to venture any further. So you say this is a second episode. This is something that has been occurring. But it's good. I'm really pleased with what happened on the Windward side. I'm pleased what's happened in Chateaubriand on the Leeward side. And citizens of this country have to really be part of the process, right? That safety net when the police may be running here and running there and trying to get a hold of things and so forth, not necessarily taking things into your own hand, not taking things into your own hand, but certainly assisting with the apprehension of people. I think that's a good thing.
Yeah.
And remember, the police always say, oh, yeah, I want the sound effect. I got to look for the effect. I want the applause.
Yeah.
All right. Remember this, the police also say that it's everybody's responsibility, right? Policing or ensuring your safety. And, the police, and this is also one of the reasons to why they do the walkabouts, so that there'll be a bit more community engagement so that people don't see it as police doing the work. It's all on the police.
Yeah, I love this for us, and I hope that we would continue. Doc was saying that this is something that was done before, but it seems like we took a break, and we're probably adhering to some sort of message that is being put out there for us. So I love this, and I hope that we would continue to do this. Continue to help out, do our duty.
The quote unquote good thing, based on people's responses to what happened in South Rivers, was that like he wasn't beaten or anything. They just like apprehended him. At least the story doesn't say that. I don't know if they like kept that on the DL. But as you all mentioned, this is the way to go. Sorry, now remember my other point. The role of social media in all of this.
Exactly.
The flyer was shared a good bit of times on social media, on WhatsApp, Facebook, different platforms. So you see how social media really plays a part in crime fighting, although some things can go haywire online and stuff, but, use your platform, and people think that, they're not doing enough or they can't do anything to help fight crime, but a simple share could actually save somebody's life.
I think one of the other interesting things in this story for me is him supposedly trying to consume a poisonous substance. Was it poisonous that they used in the article?
Consume
Consume a toxic substance, right? Now, if persons witnessing, they could have allowed him to do it,
Yeah.
right?
Oh,
And then
here
we would
goes
have had-
Roleza's intrusive thoughts.
And then we would have had a whole different story, right? Because no, the
Would
reason
we
why I
have
say
had
it-
a whole
no,
different
the reason
story?
why I said is that many times we just want for these type of persons to be out of society.
Yeah.
Right? We no longer want for them to listen, I'm not saying to allow him, right? Just hear me out. We don't want for them to be a part of our society. Many persons also don't want for them to go to jail, because one of the things that people saying is that they're going around there and they're getting fat, right?
Well, he
So-
chubby before he going, so
Well, right. So chubbier. All right.
Sorry.
So had the persons been of that type of mentality, then they could have allowed him to consume it and then call the police. However, they knocked it out of his hand, because why? They want for him to face the full brunt of the entire legal process.
Yeah.
and taxpayers' money. But something why I do not believe that it was a toxic substance. One, first of all, you
And
try
tell me
to.
about my intrusive thoughts?
No, this ain't as bad as your intrusive thoughts, right? But one, you try to flee the country,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
That means that you are very conscious of what you did
Mm-hmm.
and what is going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
You're going behind bars for a couple of years. You don't want to do that. You don't want to face the full force of the law, right? I can't remember if anybody, well, we have had like 1 or 2 cases where people ran away and what's not, but this is not a common thing, right? So you clearly know what you're doing. You know what the consequences are,
Mhm.
which means that you know beforehand. So you're not mentally ill.
No, but
Right?
it could be a case of, rather than me being caught, I would take my life so that
No.
I don't have to go through it with everything else.
but
And this
if
is,
you
hold
had
on.
already-
This is why I don't believe it was a toxic substance. Why are you intend to travel to another country with a toxic substance in your
Exactly.
possession?
Because I
Exactly.
am not going to be caught.
Your intention is to get to St. Lucia safely. Why do
Exactly.
you have a toxic substance? What is that, a
Exactly,
backup?
yes.
A plan B?
Exactly,
It is a
Christal,
plan
yeah.
B.
No, plan B is buy at the pharmacy, right?
No, so my thing is, right, rather than being caught, right, there is a possible, and this is to me, he thought ahead, because yes, he chatted, yes, he's trying to go to St. Lucia, but rather than be captured, I am going to
Yeah,
take
I-
my
I-
own life.
I
So
think-
he had notebook of plans or
That
something.
sounds like something I've seen in movies. The criminals that don't want to get caught, so they drink something. Or...
You're correct in that sense, but bringing a little bit of medical stuff in. Most toxic substances, you have to take it
Ahead
and
of
be isolated. A period of time has to pass before you. They wrestled it from his hand, and the citizens were great in that. But if he had taken it within a very short time, there would have been measures to get that substance out of his body. There would have been blood tests. We would have put down a tube. We would have given him stuff. He would have vomited. He would have,
You think so?
so that there are very few substances today that you can take. I'm taking it and you can't do anything about it. No.
So he tried pull a stunt.
Besides pulling a stunt.
Duck on myself.
Besides
Duck
pulling a
in on your
stunt.
Duck is on myself.
No. Besides
Pull a
pulling
stunt.
besides pulling the stunt, what I'm saying is that if he had taken it, we would have been able to get the vast majority of
Right.
that substance out of him, and he would have recovered sufficiently to have been able to in the same way, like knock it
He
out of your
wanted people
hand, we
to
would have
leave
knocked
him.
it out of his stomach.
He wanted people
You
to
see?
leave him alone.
Yeah, I mean, you were knocked it, we would have been able to knock it out. So I think he did have, I think it may have been a stunt. I think he had a plan B to either say he had something or that he did actually have something. But even if he took it, we would have been able to, and it would have been a matter of time. So if they couldn't find him and he was in that fishery locked up for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours, and he had taken it, then it would be a different story. But because of the quick intervention, the possibility of it going either way, him taking it or it knocked out of his hand, I think was a real thing. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah, I get you.
Yeah, like
I
watch too much
get you,
crime
but
documentaries. I tell you,
Yes,
some
yeah,
people
yeah.
try to kill themselves before they even reach court. And when
Yeah.
they're found guilty, they try to kill themselves because they don't want to have to deal with
but
prison life.
how about you
Yes.
don't commit the crime in the first place?
Exactly.
Right.
But I'm also thinking, why would you think that these people who are arresting you for these charges would care whether you live or die? why do you? I was just thinking that. So here you are. These people have caught you because you committed these offenses, and you're saying, "I'm gonna kill myself. I'll drink this," and you think they would. I mean, they showed that they care because they knocked it away.
No, but they
to some
probably-
extent.
Yeah, but I don't think he's thinking of that. He's just thinking about him not having to go to jail and deal with all the consequences. He ain't can't somebody rest what other people think.
Here's another reason why I don't think so. Because he would have just drink it. Why you taking the time to say, I'm gonna drink this? Just drink it.
But he didn't. But how you know
It could have been
said that
water.
he was going to sit down and drink it? They said that he tried to consume it and they wrestled it out of his
So
hand.
how did they know that it was a toxic substance that he was trying to consume?
But if you see somebody probably grabbing something quickly, maybe there was a scent attached to it, depending on the proximity they were to him. They would have
Nah,
realized.
man, he
Come on,
says
Christal,
something.
put
He
them-
says
put your criminal
something, man.
thoughts.
I don't have Roleza. I don't watch criminal
He actually
documentaries. Okay.
said,
I don't have a
that
prerequisite.
I have a toxic substance.
Let me go back to the
You know,
story
he
because I'm
said
pretty
that.
sure that it says
All right,
that.
me see.
No,
So
he said-
and threatened to consume. what
Right, so he
said
threatened
was
to
a-
right. So he
threatened
says so.
Yeah, so
Why
he
you gonna
said
take
so.
the time to? You're fluffing, man.
Yeah.
He lucky, yeah, I'm from different community. That's all I'm saying.
No, but we also have to. Let me go on the other side. This is unusual for me. That
To go on the other side is unusual.
given
This
the
should be
sub-
interesting.
without
On the
his
criminal
background,
side, you mean?
no, without his
With
background that
non-medical
he'd been
background.
convicted and so forth, there are some individuals, and this is where it comes a bit innocent, before being considered guilty. Person could just feel publicly shamed and so forth, or there could be a mental illness involved, or there could be, certainly this individual is mentally ill in terms of what he's doing, but another type of mental illness in which they may be suicidal in other respects. So I'm saying in all circumstances, we always have to try and let it go through the process of the courts and so and make sure that the police have apprehended the individual. Let things fall where they may after that.
And our criminals would realize that they have to face the consequences of their actions. So
Once you're
yeah.
caught, once there's sufficient evidence to be proven in court. The story also says, though, interestingly, Samuel has created history by becoming the first person convicted at the High Court of cyberbullying and harassment by electronic communication, contrary to the Cybercrime Act 2016. The jury also convicted him of rape, unlawful sexual intercourse, and indecent assault with a 14-year-old child. There was another point here. I think there was a bit of bullying as well, but that would go back in with the cybercrime stuff.
Well,
there.
I'm
But
happy to
he
hear that.
clearly knew what he
I'm
was
happy to
doing,
hear that,
right? I mean, it just lends itself to telling me that he tried to evade himself even before it got to the court.
Yeah.
So he knew what he was doing. And a lot of these men, they know what they're doing and they try. And that's why some of these rapists, people who assault other folks, they would threaten them. They would give them money. They would make friends, befriend the parents, and so many things that you have to look out for because these people know what they're doing.
Let me just read a very important part in this article, right? This is coming from Sajila McDowell. She's saying that, let me find the pertinent part. In this regard, the prisoner, among other things, used a popular communication platform to attempt to blackmail the child victim into achieving his perverse desires, McDowell said, adding that the ODPP and NPS remains committed to prosecuting all crimes. I have to go back up to
That's the point I was
from
wanting to
before,
get to.
right? Okay. So she's saying we also sound, and all parents and guardians, listen closely, please. We also sound the caution for parents and guardians and custodians to adequately monitor the online activities of children in their care as a buffer against a web of predators, right? We urge all to exercise their civic responsibility to report knowledge or suspicious of the predatory abuse of children to the Sexual Offences Unit of the RSVGPF. The number to call is 453-4599. The pursuit of justice takes a community of efforts, McDowell said. All right. So many times, parents, guardians, you just place your tablet, you place the devices, whatever, in front of a child. You want for them to sit in a corner and be quiet. Many times they are sitting in a corner and being quiet. But the thing of it is that who are they interacting with
Predators.
while they are on these devices? All right. There was one thing that I used to do with my niece occasionally. I probably didn't do it as much as I should have, but was to take her phone and go through the phone to see what she was doing on the phone, right? So there are times when, no matter the age of the child, and they have no kind of thing to tell you about what's this thing that is like this is my information, my business. Once you leave it with me, is my business too, right? The thing of it is that you have to
Privacy.
monitor them. Yeah, privacy. You have to monitor what it is that they're doing, who it is that they're speaking with, because you never know. Also, one of the other things too is to note that depending on how some children are growing up, they feel as if they're not loved. They feel as if they're not getting the attention that they wish to have or they should be getting. So they look to other persons to give them this love and this attention. But you have to be mindful or to remind them that not everybody approaches them is doing it out of genuine love and kindness. So just something else to note there.
All right. So unfortunately, there's so much more that we can say about this, but we gotta stick a pin. It's 8:29, and we got courts lined up to call us with some very important information. All right. So we'll be back.